So on this installment of 2 Minutes Of, I want to talk about 2 minutes of innovation, and that's innovation that will be specific to revenue enhancement in a hospital setting. So let's put the timer on the board. Let's start our countdown. Let's roll. Revenue enhancement in a hospital setting, and this will be most appropriate if you're a member of a hospital revenue cycle team or a billing company that caters to hospitals and ER groups. And I want to draw everyone's attention to what I call a hidden stash of cash that I think is hiding in your bad debt bucket. So let's talk about that bad debt bucket, where we're going to find two primary types of consumer balances. There's going to be that stuff that is balance after insurance, much more collectible in a standard collection setting, but I want to focus on the true self-pay, where people show up with no insurance at all, high balances, harder to collect, and here's our opportunity to do something innovative. We know how it happens. People show up at the hospital, and right away in registration it's determined that they don't have insurance. But hospitals provide care, and they provide great care, send these folks home healthy. The billing department processes these bills, and when they don't pay, out the door they go to collections. And here in collections, letter, phone call, some action, it doesn't pay, now it's a write-off. And here's our chance to do something different and better with these accounts, because we also know a lot of these folks will go home and apply for Medicaid like they were told to in registration, and it could be months later, but eventually many of them get approved for Medicaid. So if we put some dollars to that example we were looking at earlier, we learned some things. Research would show us that about a third of these dollars end up in that balance after insurance bucket, and with traditional letters and phone calls, you can hit a home run and get 15% recovery. But that doesn't happen with the particular accounts that are true self-pay. Research will show that letters and phone calls are only going to get you about a 1% recovery, and that's why we should do something different. Here's being innovative. We take these and we put them in our RetroCAID tracking incubator. And we find that we're looking daily for Medicaid eligibility, where instead of with traditional letters and phone calls getting the 1% recovery, and after a fee, a low yield to the hospital client, we're getting more like 10% recoveries. And even after Medicaid takes a bite, it's still a much better yield to the hospital. We're regularly getting 15% or more, and that's even a greater yield. So if you need to know more about RetroCAID tracking, we'd love to hear from you. My 2 minutes are over. That's 2 minutes of innovation. Hope to see you next time on 2 Minutes Of.